How mitakupi trokaha le ampetu ki chante hetaha yuskia na pe uchius papelo le miacha ikanchola tipiki elwahi na maza shkanshkan wapre wanji Lakotia woglakapi na lako wichocha ki he iwoglakinkta yalo. Dweki hechi tuktel anagopta nakapi ki hena wopila tranka lo. Hello, my relatives, on this day. First of all, I'd like to, from my heart, I'd like to extend a warm, hearty handshake to you. This is me. I have come to the radio station, and for 1 hour, I will talk about the Lakota Woglakapi and the Lako Wichoch and the language, Lakota language, and also the culture. And those of you who are listening, wherever you are sitting at this time, I offer my word of thanks. Thank you very much for tuning in. On this day, this is the 20th episode of the program, the Lakota Cultural Hour. And I may have to say my name. My name is Dana Dupree, and I am the host. Just to review the previous program, we talked about the, I call it LIBI, but it's an acronym for Little Bighorn. And there was some activity that took place as in the form of a meeting. And then also last week we talked about the 7 values of the Lakota life. Talked a little bit about Woblecha, and then did a presentation, or I guess a personal testimony on outpatient treatment and the process of alcohol and drug use. And then I did cover group 14 of the Lakota sentences for beginners, and then I ended with the Ikotomi story. And as usual, I would like to again start with the prayer. And the prayer is the Serenity Prayer. Tunkashila wachwala mak'ua daku waglutchokcha oaki hisni ena omakyayo daku waglutchokcha oaki ena oash ake mak'u na omakyaki lena u woksape heche wagluhakta yalo. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. I found another resource, actually, my daughter, or somebody, my wife, my daughter, one of them, when I came home, there was some books on my nightstand. One is Basic Electricity, how to learn about electrical circuits and all that good stuff. I think maybe they're going to put me to work as an electrician. I don't know. The other one was Hechituelo. It's a student manual, and it's really interesting. It was put out by Oglala Lakota College, Kyle, South Dakota, in January of 1989. And this manual, it's a student manual. It is designed to be used with a series of Lakota language cassette tapes produced and distributed by Oglala Lakota College. So that's what was passed on to me, and I want to utilize it as much as possible. I think I ran out of sentences anyway in the Everyday Lakota and English Sioux Dictionary for Beginners. That's the St. Francis publication. And now I'm going to maybe make comment. At this time in 1989, Pat Lee, I'm not sure if that's the Dr. Pat Lee, but he was the Lakota Studies Chairman, and at that time was the Vice Chairman to Instruction at OLC, was a project director. This is a National Endowment for the Humanities grant that OLC and Kili Radio received. And so principal speakers for the cassette tapes were Karen Whiteeyes, Lakota Studies instructor, and my kola, my friend Marcel Boulbert, who was at that time director of Pejutahaha College Center in Kyle. So they are the principal speakers. I don't have the tape. I could probably get it, but back in 89, I'm not sure how successful I'll be, but I want to recognize those two individuals that probably did a lot of work, make this happen, make it successful. And the contents, and again, it's just 15 chapters or lessons, and they really outdid themselves. I think it is valuable and more valuable even today as we look at this information. And I'm going to tap into some of it. And the first part I'm going to reserve for another time, because it talks about the history, the Siouan language family, Lakota and Related Languages and Dialects by Janet K. Murray. And so it talks about the origin or the first contact when there was contact between the Lakota, the Sioux, and the Winnebago, or their tribes in that area, in the Woodlands area, and how they, over the years, different ones that were identified as individuals, researchers that studied the language and became well known. So one of the persons mentioned in there was Ella DeLoria, and she was a linguist and she was a Dakota. And so I think that is saying a lot, because we have one of our own that did a lot of research, and there's some bio on. I think she published several books, and so it would be really interesting to reference some of her work. And so there's always room for inclusion of resources, valuable resources. And so I think one of the things that was really interesting, and I'll talk about it later, is that I met a relative of Ella DeLoria just recently when I attended a meeting. And at breakfast that last morning, we were there in Sheridan, Wyoming. One of the relatives, Ella DeLoria, talked about her work and how things transpired as a result of her work and contact with other other linguists, so to speak. And so that is something that I'll have to get familiar with this article and put it into outline so that I can present it to you. And they're from I think from Yankton area, but they moved up to Standing Rock, and And then she spent a lot of time with the elders in that area. Excuse me. So that's something that I want to reference is her work, and I think I'll get the names of all the publications that she has out. I know there's one with stories upon stories. And what I'm going to do is I found a loose leaf paper inserted inside this Hechitu yellow, the way it is, student manual. And it says, things usually said to children. And it has a 3-hole punch. It doesn't have any, it's not attached to this manual, student manual, but it's somebody blessed us with this. And so I think there's 23 sentences, and you probably heard some of them. We probably went over some of them, but I'm going to share this and thank you, whoever created this. This is very valuable. So, things usually said to children. And you can put your mind back into the late 1989, 90s, thereabouts. And the first sentence is, Nape glujaja bi. Nape glujaja bo. Wash your hands. Or singular, it would be ye and yo. Nape glujaja ye. Nape glujaja yo. Wash your hands. Second one is ite glujaja ye. Ite glujaja yo. And then plural will be ite glujaja be. Ite glujaja bo. Wash your face. And this one's pretty interesting. Brush your teeth. He kpajaja ye. He kpajaja yo. Plural would be he kpajaja be. He kpajaja bo. Oh, this one's serious. Getting serious now. Pasu bakinta ye. Pasu bakinta yo. Pasu bakinta be. Pasu bakinta bo. Wipe your nose. And a lot of times when you go into somebody's home, they ask you to do this. Hampa glushloka ye. Hampa glushloka yo. Plural, hampa glushloka be. Hampa glushloka bo. Take off your shoes. And this one's very important. Anarupta ye. Anarupta yo. Plural will be anarupta be. Anarupta bo. Listen. And this one's just, I'm just going to leave it as I read it. Dayan echanu. Dayan echanu. You did good. And you can add the female, male part to it. Dayan echanu. The next one is equally important as all the above. Wota ye. Wota yo. Plural, it'll be wota be. Wota bo. Eat. And then we have hechushni ye. Hechushni yo. Plural will be hechushni be. Hechushni bo. And then we go to hiu. Hiu ye. Hiu yo. Plural would be hiu we. Hiu wo. Come here. And out to recess, you can ask the kids, Daya shkata, yeah. Daya shkata, yo. Or plural, you could say, Daya shkata, be. Daya shkata, po. Play nice. And this one, Lila ni washta, or Lila ni washte, yeah. Lila ni washte, yo. Plural, it would be Lila ni washte, be. Lila ni washte, po. You are very good. This one, kshiza shni, yeah. Kshiza shni, yo. Kiza pi. My eyes are tricking me. Kiza pi shni, yeah. Kiza pi shni, yo. Kiza pi shni, pe. Kiza pi shni, po. Don't fight. And this one, inila. I'll just leave it as that. Inila. Quiet. I think you can add words to make it into a complete sentence. But Inila. I think that was my Indian name. Inila. Inila. And my last name was Ayushta. Ayushta. Leave it alone. Quiet and leave it alone. That was my Indian name. Lakota name. Maybe. I don't know. This one, probably a boarding school source for this. Wotala money pe. Wotala money po. Wotala money ye. Wotala money yo. Walk single file. And this one, Istima ye, istima yo. Plural would be istima pe, istima po. And this one's a command, another command. Istima pe and istima po, istima ye, istima yo. It's go to sleep, go to sleep. Iotaka ye, iotaka yo. Iotaka pe, iotaka po. Sit down. Inaji ye, inaji yo. Inaji pe, inaji po. Stand up. Mani eta yatka ye. Mani eta yatka yo. Mani eta yatka pe. Mani eta yatka po. Drink some water. And this one's kind of more generalized, I think. Trankal u ye. Trankal u yo. Trankal u pe. Trankal u po. And it says use the bathroom, but you can add more descriptive language to this. And that's probably when they didn't have running water, maybe. I don't know. I know we grew up in a home where there was no running water. We had a little privy, they call it, fancy word for privy, for outhouse, or the front office, they call it. Loyachi he, loyachi ho, loyachi he, loyachi ho. Are you hungry? Or they could ask you, loyachi shni he, loyachi shni ho. Are you not hungry? Tima u be, tima u bo, tima u we, tima u wo. Come in. So that is the things usually said to children, and this was a loose leaf page that was inserted in this magnificent magnificent find. So I just appreciate who did that and whoever did that, and we pass on the knowledge to you all. So, and just want to talk a little bit about my little travels. I went traveling and went to a place called Sheridan, Wyoming. I went to a place outside of Sheridan called Bighorn, Wyoming, and it's right south of Sheridan. And it's a place where I've been asked to be on an cultural advisory board for the Brinton Museum. And little history on the Brinton Museum was it started out first as a Quarter Circle A ranch, and it was established in 1892 by William Moncrief, a Scottish immigrant and early Sheridan County rancher. Then in 1923, there was a Chicago industrialist and collector who purchased the ranch, and he started to gather a collection of Western art and American Indian items, and etc. The collection included famous artists as Charles M. Russell and Frederick Remington and Edward Borsine. I don't know if I pronounced that right. And also collected Northern Plains Indian beadwork and textiles from the Dene Nation and the some pottery. And then in 1936, Bradford unfortunately passed away, and his collection was inherited by his sister, Helen Brinton, and she established the Bradford Brinton Memorial. I think it was a year after her brother passed away. And then she passed away in 1960, and later on, the Brinton Museum was opened in 1991. As a museum, it was opened in 2012, was incorporated as a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and the Brinton Museum. In 2015, there was an opening of the facilities. It's a beautiful facility, and it's the opening of the Forrest E. Mars Jr. building, named after a longtime supporter and philanthropist. It's a 24,000 square foot facility, which includes a gallery exhibition space, state-of-the-art storage, and allows the institution to house and offer exhibitions of its extensive collection year-round. Also, on the grounds of the museum land, the Quarter Circle Ranch, original ranch house, and it was in late 19th century original ranch house, and also the land, and this included various barns and outbuildings. So if you have time and you're in Sheridan, I believe they have Sheridan Indian Days annually, and they have the World Championship Indian Relay competition to see who the world champions are. So, but they, like I mentioned, there's a American Indian Advisory Council that is where I was honored to be in attendance with these representatives. I won't mention any names, but there was 2 representatives from the Apsalake Crow Nation. There's a couple of representatives from Northern Cheyenne and 3 representatives from the Lakota Nation. And then 2 representatives at large, one from Navajo, Dene, and one Sistine Dakota Nation. And one of the major collections, and he was a past board liaison, was Father Peter J. Powell. And so it had so happened on the 16th of April, there was a gallery opening, and the exhibit is called The Unfinished War. And it runs from April 17th to September 14th, 2026. And the guest keynote speaker at the opening on April 16th was Rhonda Holy Bear, and she's a tribal member of the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe and a very well-known, well-established artist. And she has, she's a part of the exhibit. So there was some, ledger art and also some art from Amos Badhart Bull. I think he's a historian. And then there's a Stephen Standing Bear. He had a muslin drawing. And then Rhonda did, she had a doll, one of her famous dolls that she creates. And then there was another winter count by White Swan. And then contemporary artists was Fritz Scholder, John Quick to See Smith, Arthur Amiot, David Wilcox, and a photography piece by Bentley Spang. So that was very interesting. And also at the same time, there was a about half-hour drive away from Sheridan. There's an art gallery called U-Cross, and I think it's the name of a town too. And so there was some artists, Native American artists that were a part of an internship, and the U-Cross Art Gallery is a 20,000 acre ranch. And so they had it was established, it was been going since 1983, I believe. But they had a gallery opening too, or exhibit opening. And so some of the, or all of the artists, they did their work. They brought some examples of their paintings. And one was from the Eastern Band of Cherokee, Annette Sanook Clapsaddle. I'm not sure if that's her correct pronunciation of her name, but she did some pottery. And then there was Gina Herrera, Tesuki Pueblo, and she did some 3D pieces. I believe she was in the military, 25 years in the armed services. And so she grew up in California, I believe. And then there was Sarah Ortegon, High Walking, Eastern Shoshone, and Northern Arapaho. So she did some one painting and one I think it is a painting too, but it's kind of like a 3D type mixed media. And she's from I think she's from Denver, Colorado, and she's also a performing artist. And then the fourth one was Wade Patton from Oglala, Lakota, and he did some beadwork and also some paintings. And so those were the four artists, and then the curator and artist was Mr. Marwin Begay Dene, and he is currently a professor at the University of Oklahoma. So he was a guest curator and a recent U-Cross fellow. And so he coordinated the gallery opening. And it was really good to see my friend Marwin and to see some of his work. He does printmaking. His area of interest is birds. So there's some beautiful artwork that was presented, and also at the board meeting we had a lot of good discussion, and again the underlying goal was to provide information on the 150th anniversary of the battle at the Little Bighorn. And so this is the museum has a exhibit, The Unfinished War. And that is a little update. I just want to share that with you. I want to catch you up on a story. The story is Iktomi in the recent story about Iktomi. He wanted to be beautiful. He wanted to be recognized in a different way because he was tired of being who he was. And so he happened upon a beautiful rare bird, and had long fan-like tail feathers that caught all the beautiful colors of the rainbow. And Iktomi wanted to be like that. This bird was a peacock. So Iktomi, in his usual way, wanted to become a beautiful bird. But after baghayang, after pestering the peacock finally relented and said, "Okay, I can make you into a bird. I have magic power. My touch will change you in a moment into a most beautiful peacock if you can keep one condition." So that was the stipulations, is that Iktomi had to keep one condition. Iktomi said, yeah, I could do that, no problem. I could keep 10 conditions. Just turn me into a beautiful bird. And so, with the touch of the magic peacock, who touched Iktomi and turned him into a beautiful bird, that change happened, and Iktomi became beautiful, and he strutted around looking at himself, and meanwhile the magic peacock flew back up and sat in a tree limb, and then Iktomi got tired of looking at himself. He wanted more. He wanted more. So he flew up and landed beside the magic peacock, and he said that he wanted to be more than beautiful. He wanted to fly, but these the feathers that you had were very heavy. They were. He wanted to be given that ability to fly, but the magic peacock said, "No, you promised that one condition, and that condition, remains intact." So, by that time, there was a bunch of birds flew by, and Iktomi got all excited, and he wanted to, "Hey, one more couple, look at me, I'm beautiful. I want to fly with you, wherever you're going, I want to go with you." But the magic peacock, watched him carefully and told Iktomi not to think about even flying, because he wanted to be beautiful. He didn't say, "I want to be beautiful and I want to fly." So then Iktomi, in his excitement, he jumped off that branch and he started to fly, and all the birds, they kind of circled around, they took off, and they said, "Oh, And where there was two beautiful peacock birds, one was still up in a tree and the other one landed on the ground. And he turned back into himself, the old Iktomi. And so Iktomi became Iktomi again. He was brave and brown buckskins. I am my old self again, groaned Iktomi in a sad voice. And he pled with the magic peacock. Make me over, pretty bird, try me this once again. Try this once again. And he pleaded, but old Iktomi wanted to fly. We cannot wait for him, said the birds as they flew away. So Iktomi was kind of upset. But you know, Iktomi is always, he never learns, I guess. He was beautiful and he wanted to be beautiful. Now he's back to himself. So muttering unhappy vows to himself, Iktomi had not gone far when he chanced upon a bunch of long, slender arrows. One by one, the arrows rose in the air, and they shot a straight line over the prairie. The others shot up into the blue sky and were soon lost to sight. Only one was left. He was making ready for his flight when Iktomi rushed upon him and wailed, I want to be an arrow. I want to be an arrow. Make me into an arrow. Iktomi shouted, I want to pierce the blue skies overhead. I want to strike yonder summer sun in its center. Make me into an arrow. And the magic arrow said, can you keep a condition? One condition, though hard as it is. The magic arrow turned to ask Iktomi. Iktomi said, yes, yes, I could do that, shouted Iktomi, delighted. Hereupon the slender magic arrow tapped Iktomi gently with his sharp flint beak. There was no more Iktomi, but two arrows that stood ready to fly. Now, young arrow, this is the one condition. Your flight must always be in a straight line. Never turn a curve nor jump about like a young fawn, said the magic arrow. He spoke slowly and sternly. At once, the magic arrow set about to teach Iktomi, the Iktomi arrow, how to shoot in a long, straight line. This is the way to pierce the blue sky overhead, said the magic arrow. And off he spun high into the sky, and while he was gone, a herd of deer came trotting by. Behind them played the young fawns together. They frolicked about like kittens. They bounced on all fours like balls. Then they pitched forward, kicking their heels up into the air. The Iktomi arrow watched them so happy on the ground. Looking quickly up into the sky, Iktomi said in his heart, the magician arrow is out of sight. I'll just romp and frolic with these fawns until the magic arrow returns. Fawns, friends, do not fear me, said Iktomi. I want to jump and leap with you. I long to be happy as you are, said Iktomi. The young fawn stopped with stiff legs and stared at the speaking arrow with large brown, wondering eyes. See, I can jump as well as you, said Iktomi. He gave one tiny leap like a fawn. All of a sudden, the fawn snorted with extended nostrils at what they beheld. There among them stood Iktomi and his brown buckskins. And that strange talking arrow was gone. "Oh, I am myself, my old self," cried Iktomi, pinching himself and plucking imaginary pieces out of his jacket. He, I wanted to fly." The real arrow now returned to the earth. He landed very near Iktomi. From the high sky he had seen the fawns playing on the green. He had seen Iktomi make his one leap, and the charm was broken. Iktomi became his former self. "Arrow, magic arrow, my friend, change me once more," begged Iktomi. "No, no more," replied the magic arrow. Then the magic arrow shot through the air in the direction his comrades had flown. And poor Iktomi, he was given a special gift, and then he kind of messed up again. So that Iktomi, he just never learns. So then we have to find out what Iktomi does again and again and again and again, because he's going to, one of these days he's going to learn, but he has to learn the hard way. So I have the wrong book, but I was looking in the wrong book. I had my basketball playbook because I was going to play basketball, but I couldn't play basketball because I didn't have my playbook. But now I have my playbook, but the basketball tournament's over. So next year, Doksha, next year. And this is a story that I want to finish with today. And it's a Cheyenne story, but I think you've seen it. You might have seen it on a movie. There was a movie that had a series of legends and stories from different tribes. And you probably recognize it as I go into the story. And then I'll hopefully do it justice. And this is, again, hundreds of years ago, there was a girl who was very good at quill work, so good that she was the best among all tribes everywhere. Her designs were radiant with color, and she could decorate anything: clothing, pouches, quivers, even teepees. One day, this girl sat down in her parents' lodge and began to make a man's outfit of white buckskin: war shirt, leggings, moccasins, gauntlets, everything. It took her weeks to embroider them with exquisite quillwork and fringes of buffalo hair, marvelous to look at. Though her mother said nothing, she wondered. The girl had no brothers, nor was a young man courting her, so why was she making a man's outfit? As if that wasn't strange enough, no sooner had she finished the first outfit than she began working on a second, then on a third. She worked all year until she had made and decorated 7 complete sets of men's clothes, the last a very small one. The mother just watched and kept wondering. At last, after the girl had finished the 7th outfit, she spoke to her mother. "Someplace many, many days' walk from here live 7 brothers," she said. "Someday all the world will admire them. Since I am an only child, I want to take them for my brothers, and these clothes are for them." "It is well, my daughter," her mother said. "I will go with you." It is too far for you to walk," said the girl. "Then I will go part of the way," said her mother. They loaded their strongest dogs with 7 bundles and set off towards the north. "You seem to know the way," said the mother. "Yes, I don't know why, but I do," answered the daughter. And you seem to know all about those 7 young men and what makes them stand out from ordinary humans. I know about them, said the girl, though I don't know how. Thus they walked, the girl seeming sure of herself. At last the mother said, "This is as far as I can go." They divided the dogs, the girl keeping 2 for her journey, and they took leave of each other. Then the mother headed south back to her village and her husband, while the daughter continued walking into the north. At last the daughter came to a lone, painted, and very large teepee, which stood near a wide stream. The stream was shallow, and she waded across it, calling, "It is I, the young-looking girl for brothers bringing gifts." The young girl looking for brothers bringing gifts. At that, a small boy about 10 years old came out of the teepee. "I am the youngest of 7 brothers," he told the girl. "The others are out hunting buffalo, but they will come back after a while. I have been expecting you. But you'll be a surprise to my brothers because they don't have my special gift of knowing and of no touch." "What is the gift of no touch?" asked the girl. "Sometime you will find out. Well, come into my teepee." The girl gave the boy the smallest outfit, which fitted him perfectly and delighted him with its beautiful quill work. I shall take you all for my brothers," the girl told him. "And I'm glad to have you for a sister," answered the boy. The girl took all the other bundles off her 2 dogs' back and told them to go back to her parents, and at once the dogs began trotting south. Inside the teepee were 7 beds of willow sticks and sage. The girl unpacked her bundles and put a war shirt, a pair of leggings, a pair of moccasins, a pair of gauntlets upon each of the older brothers' beds. Then she gathered wood and built a fire. From her pack she took dried meat, dried chokecherries, and kidney fat, and cooked a meal for 8. Toward evening, just as the meal was ready, the 6 older brothers appeared laden with buffalo meat. The little boy ran outside the lodge and capered, kicking his heels and jumping up and down, showing off his quilled buckskin outfit. Where did you get those fine clothes?" the brothers asked. "We have a new sister," said the child. "She is waiting inside, and she has clothes for you too. She does the most wonderful quill work in the world, and she's beautiful herself." The brothers greeted the girl joyfully. They were struck with wonder at the white buckskin outfits she had brought as gifts for them. They were as glad to have a sister to care for as she was to have brothers to cook and make clothes for. Thus they lived happily. One day, after the older brothers had gone out to hunt, a light-colored buffalo calf appeared at the teepee and scratched and knocked with his hoof against the entrance flap. The boy came out and asked it what it wanted. "I am sent by the Buffalo Nation," said the calf. "We have heard of your beautiful sister, and we want her for our own." "You can't have her," answered the boy. "Go away." "Oh, well, then somebody bigger than I will come," said the calf, and it ran off jumping and kicking its heels. The next day, when the boy and his sister were alone again, a young heifer arrived, lowing and snorting, rattling the entrance of the flap of the teepee. Once more the child came out to ask what she wanted. "I am sent by the Buffalo Nation," said the heifer. "We want your beautiful sister for ourselves." "You can't have her," said the boy. "Go away, Shabi-hi-oh." "Then somebody bigger than I will come," said the heifer, galloping off like the calf before her. On the 3rd day, a large buffalo cow, grunting loudly, appeared at the lodge. The boy came out and asked, "Big buffalo cow, what do you want?" "I am sent by the Buffalo Nation," said the cow. I have come to take your beautiful sister. We want her. You can't have her, said the boy. Go away, Habihayo. Somebody very big will come after you, said the buffalo. Oh, will come after me, said the buffalo cow. And he won't come alone. He'll kill you if you don't give him your sister. With these words, the cow trotted off. On the fourth day, the older brothers stayed home to protect the girl. The earth began to tremble a little, then to rock and heave. At last appeared the most gigantic buffalo bull in the world, much larger than any you see now. Behind him came the whole buffalo nation, making the earth shudder. Pawing the ground, the huge buffalo snorted and bellowed like thunder. The six older brothers, peering out through the entrance hole, were very much afraid, but the little boy stepped boldly outside. Big, oversized buffalo, what do you want from us? He asked. I want your sister, said the giant buffalo bull. If you won't give her to me, I'll kill you all. The boy called for his sister and older brothers to come out. Terrified, they did so. I'll take her now, growled the huge bull. No, said the boy, she doesn't want to be taken. You can't have her. Go away, Habiayo. In this case, I'll kill you now, roared the giant bull. I'm coming. Quick, brother, use your special medicine, the six older brothers cried to the youngest. I am using it, said he. Now all of you, catch a hold of the branches of this tree. Hurry. He pointed to a tree growing by the teepee. The girl and the six brothers jumped onto its branches. The boy took his bow and swiftly shot an arrow into the tree's trunk, then clasped the trunk tightly himself. At once the tree started to grow, shooting up into the sky, and in no time at all, it all happened much quicker than it can be told. The brothers and the girls were lifted up in the tree branches out of the reach of the buffalo. They watched a herd of angry animals grunting and snorting, milling around the tree far below. I'll chop the tree down with my horns, roared the giant buffalo. He charged the tree, which shook like a willow and swayed back and forth. Trying not to fall off, the girl and the brothers clutched the branches. The big bull had gouged a large piece of wood from the trunk. The little boy said, I better use one more arrow. He shot an arrow high into the treetop, and again the tree grew, shooting up another 1,000 feet or so, while the seven brothers and the girl rose with it. The giant buffalo bull made his second charge. Again his horns stabbed into the tree and splintered wood far and wide. The gash in the trunk had become larger. The boy said, I must shoot another arrow. He did, hitting the tree again, and quick as a flash, the tree rose another 1,000 feet. A third time the bull charged, rocking the tree, making it sway from side to side so that the brothers and the girl almost tumbled out of their branches. They cried to the boy to save them. The child shot a fourth arrow into the tree, which rose again so that the seven young men and the girl disappeared into the clouds. The gash in the tree trunk had become dangerously large. When the bull charges again, he will shatter this tree, said the girl. Little brother, help us. Just as the bull charged for the fourth time, the child loosed the single arrow he had left, and the tree rose above the clouds. Quick, step out right on the clouds. Hurry, cried the little boy. Don't be afraid. The bull's head hit the tree trunk with a fearful impact. His horns cut the tree in two just as the tree slowly began to topple. The seven brothers and the girl stepped off its branches into the sky. There the eight of them stood. Little brother, what will become of us now? We can never return to earth. We're up too high. What shall we do? Don't grieve, said the little boy. I'll turn us all into stars. At once the 7 brothers and the girl were bathed in radiant light. They formed themselves into what the Washichu called the Big Dipper. You can see them there now. The brightest star is the beautiful girl who is filling the sky with glimmering quillwork, and the star twinkling at the very end of the dipper's handle is the little boy. Can you see him? Wanlakaho. And that's the story that I want to share with you. And it's the Quillwork Girl and her 7 star brothers. And that was the second story, and reached the end of our journey today. And I wanted to share some information with you on the months, but I can do that next time. Next time I will share that with you. But again, I want to thank you all for listening today, and I'm bet ki lila washtecha. Dr. Khana taki hanga yokpia heche. Owani akakingte nice washi chanokte nice dwe malakikte ana dwe ki hana achi anaka tamna kakene wopila tranke prelo la mitakupi wana mi glustancha tiata wagnina ke asni wakingte lo na okabla leti wakunkte ashe trokate ke hechi akeo ampetu wensi watini kapik de locha yokpia yuska heche upo o heche to lo ha metaku ye oyasi